Renzo Gang. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, Renzo Gang? You already know what time it is. It's your boy Brian Renzo Viz, and I am back with another YouTube reaction video. And today, I will be reacting to another Tekken anime lore. This character that I'm reacting to, one of the main characters, the main antagonist, Kazuya Mishima. For the one that requested this video, I told you it was coming. I told you, bro, it was coming. I ain't let you down. So with that being said, this is a long video. I mean like an over an hour long. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break this video down into maybe two or three parts. Cause this video is over an hour long. So that's what I'm gonna do. Break it down into two or three parts. So with that being said, Renzo Gang, I'm not gonna spend too much time on this intro. We're gonna get right into the video. Chidero.
From the moment Kazuya Mishima drew his first breath, the weight of a dynasty bore down upon him. The Mishima name was synonymous with power, power
Yes, it
amassed
was.
through the Mishima Zaibatsu, an empire spanning diverse industries, and honed through the family's mastery of unique martial arts.
Yes, sir.
The Mishima estate, with its grand halls and immaculate gardens, epitomized their dominance. Yet beneath the opulence laid a simmering cauldron of tension, ambition, and buried secrets. Even before Kazuya's birth, his family's history was steeped in conflict and intrigue. His grandfather, Jinpachi Mishima, founded the Mishima Zaibatsu, a corporation that thrived during World War II by manufacturing weapons. After the war, Jinpachi turned toward pacifism, seeking to distance himself from the arms trade and instead focus on refining Mishima-style fighting karate,
Yes, sir.
an ancient martial art purportedly created to exterminate demons. He trained his son, Heihachi Mishima,
Bruh, he's the worst
alongside
of them all,
Kazumi
Heihachi.
Hachijo, a girl from the Hachijo clan, a lineage of assassins sent to spy on the dangerous Mishimas under the guise of training. When
Yes.
Kazumi first arrived at Jinpachi's dojo, she and Heihachi were fierce rivals in their training. Over time, however, their rivalry blossomed into love. They eventually married, and at 26, Heihachi became a father when Kazumi gave birth to their son, Kazuya. Kazuya's earliest memories were filled with warmth and love. His mother sang him lullabies and cradled him in her arms,
That's the only peace
shielding
this man
him
has
from
had
the
in his
world's
life.
harshness.
Literally. That's the only peace this man has had in his whole life within the Tekken series. Kazuya literally thrives off chaos and destruction. He this is the only time he's had peace within his life. Even in childhood, he barely even had peace.
和也、世界は残酷かもしれないが、すべてが崩壊しているように感じても、自分の中にある光を持ち続けなければならない。
Bro, she was scary. Playing Tekken 7, she was terrifying. The backstory on her, she was terrifying.
Jinpachi served as a guiding light, teaching Kazuya the fundamentals of the Mishima fighting style and sharing tales of honor and discipline.
KAZUYA.
All of this, however, stood in stark contrast to Heihachi's cold and harsh training methods.
Why is
For a
Heihachi
time,
so evil?
the
What is
Mishima
wrong with this
family
man?
lived in peace, but eventually, their happiness ended abruptly when Kazumi collapsed with a fever during training. While
Boy, that's-
Heihachi tended to her, she suddenly attacked him without warning.
KAZUMI.
平八さん。
The following day, Kazumi had no memory of the incident, and her fever was gone. This cycle repeated several times, leading Heihachi to believe Kazumi was suffering from a split personality disorder.
That's probably why Heihachi became so cold-hearted. I get it, but at the same time, like you cold-hearted for no reason. Like, what is wrong with you, Heihachi Mishima? Like, you just a menace for no reason. Literally a menace for no reason.
Over time, however, he realized Kazumi harbored a far darker secret.
Like, literally, you're just a menace for no reason.
Azazel, a powerful and ancient demon once known as the Rectifier, ruled over the heavens and earth thousands of years ago.
I hated fighting
It
Azazel in
was the
Tekken 6.
progenitor of a power known as the Devil Gene.
I hated
In
fighting
ancient
him in Tekken
times,
6.
Azazel granted a fraction of its power to select humans, enabling them to channel their desires and fears to unlock supernatural abilities and transform into monstrous beings. These individuals served as Azazel's loyal agents. For his chosen few, the devil gene became a supernatural genetic abnormality, passed down from generation to
He's basically the
generation.
creator of the devil
This
gene.
power functioned as a parasitic relationship, with a malignant spirit referred to as a devil, acting as the host's dark counterpart. The spirit took control of its host, transforming their appearance and personality while granting them supernatural abilities. Even in its dormant state, the spirit afflicted the mind of the untransformed host, preying on their thoughts and desires and amplifying them, whether for good or ill. Eventually, humans overthrew Azazel, and the ancient ancestors of Zafina imprisoned its spirit within a temple built in its name. They placed a magical seal to bind it, but the power of the devil gene continued to persist in the world inside humanity. The Hachijo clan were descendants of a devil that escaped Azazel's rule long before its imprisonment. For millennia, the Hachijo clan, carriers of demonic blood, operated from the shadows of Kyoto, eliminating those deemed threats to the world by directing the supernatural force against their enemies. Kazumi was one such carrier of the devil gene.
That's why she was so terrifying, especially when she attacked Heihachi for split personality disorder. Yeah, she was definitely terrifying.
The Hachijo clan foresaw that Heihachi's unchecked ambition would bring great tragedy to the world. Thus, after 5 years of marriage, and even though she loved him dearly, Kazumi received the order to kill Heihachi and their son. The clan also...
Now, they had a reason to do that because Heihachi definitely was not. He was never going to be an antagonist, well, a protagonist, excuse me. Heihachi was never, even in the beginning, it said that his very cold methods of training, like Heihachi, he's meant to take over stuff. That's Heihachi's destiny. He's meant to take over. That's what he thrives off of, taking over stuff. Even if it means he has to imprison you or unalive you to get what he wants. But Heihachi, he's a menace for a reason. That's why the Hachijo clan, if I said that correctly, they wanted Kazumi to take him out.
Prophesied that if Kazumi failed to kill Heihachi, their son, KAZUYA Mishima, would grow into a similar threat.
Yep.
Kazumi was torn.
And it was at one point, KAZUYA was way worse than Heihachi. And I'm pretty sure they're going to talk about this in this one. Since this is a very long one. I'm pretty sure they're going to talk about it because KAZUYA was definitely a menace compared to Heihachi. Heihachi was no better, but KAZUYA, whew.
She knew Heihachi had to be stopped, yet she dreaded unleashing her devil. She could not bear the thought of killing her son or the man she loved. She delayed the inevitable, suppressing the devil, causing her to become frequently ill, But this could only last so long.
Yeah, eventually she had to do it.
Eventually, there would be no stopping it.
Yeah,
The
Blue
idyllic
took over.
days at the Mishima estate began to unravel when Kazuya turned 5. He noticed it first in his mother's eyes, once warm and serene, now heavy with worry. Kazumi's soothing voice, a source of comfort, grew sharp whenever she spoke to Heihachi. The arguments began as whispered exchanges, but soon escalated into shouting matches that reverberated through the grand halls.
Yep.
なぜ彼を輝かすのですか、カズミ。あなたが彼を保護し続けたら、彼は決してこの時に生き残ることはできません。私たちは
Probably would cause
強くな
Heihachi
け
to
れ
be
ばなり
cold
ません。
towards Kazuya.
強烈な。
Kazumi was desperately trying to save Heihachi from himself, attempting to steer him away from the dark, ambitious path he had chosen. She sought any solution to avoid fulfilling her orders, for the sake of their family and for the sake of their son. Kazuya began noticing things he hadn't before, his mother clutching her chest as if fighting an unseen internal battle, his grandfather's tense expressions, and his father's growing coldness and ambition. He clung to Kazumi, as if his presence alone could hold back the darkness. But the storm was coming, and nothing could stop it.
Nothing can stop it.
もしミッションに失敗したら平八さんを殺してください。そして
Akuma from Street Fighter.
すべてはカズミ殿の胸。
Yes, Akuma from Street Fighter. He's a Tekken canon character.
One night, Jinpachi vanished. The staff avoided Kazuya's questions, their eyes downcast and their lips sealed. He overheard murmurs of betrayal and imprisonment, but his father offered no explanation. Jinpachi had been a cornerstone of Kazuya's world, and without him, the estate felt emptier, colder. Then came the day Kazumi fell ill for the last time. She knew this was the moment she could no longer hold the devil at bay. The vibrancy that had once defined her faded as she withdrew to her chambers.
Yep.
Kazuya
His story
sat by
modes in
her
Tekken
bedside,
7.
clutching her hand as she offered quiet reassurances.
ミシコよ、君は自分が思っている以上に強い。
Yeah,
私
Kazuya
はあ
had
な
a
たをとても
hard
愛してい
life
る。
in Tekken.
さあ、自分の部屋で遊
Kazuya
び
had
なさ
probably
い。
the hardest life
あ
in
なた
Tekken.
のお父さんと話をする必要があります。
He probably had the hardest life in Tekken than anybody else.
よっふんほっ
Tekken 7.
せいカズミ
貴様はいずれ世界を脅かす存在になる。
The night she couldn't hold back anymore.
ゆえに今、死を与えるのだ。
カズミやめ
まだわからぬか、なぜ我がこの家に嫁いだのか。
まさか
This was very dark.
我ら八丈家は貴様の
This
よう
was
な
very
人間を
dark.
消すために太古から存在しておる。その使命を今果たす。死ねい、平八。
I love this game. I ain't like fighting her either, but I hated fighting Zazu.
安咲きにしてくれる。
デアリア許せ
平八さん、よろしゅうおたな申します。いい子ね。月が綺麗ですね。
And for those that don't know, when Jinpachi disappeared, Heihachi imprisoned that man up under Hanmaru. That place right there is called Hanmaru. Heihachi imprisoned his own father, took over the Mishima Zaibatsu, imprisoned his father, starved him to death. His father passed away. Heihachi was a very evil person. Very evil. I can understand why you killed your wife. I get that. But your father, you did your son wrong, your grandson wrong, your adopted son wrong, your other illegitimate son wrong, and you don't know your daughter. So Heihachi is a very evil man. Heihachi was a very evil man. And mind you, Heihachi is a human. Full blown, full blooded, full blown human. Yeah, this was dark right here. I hated he had to do that, but at the same time, he had to do it. I hated he had to do it, but in this situation, I don't fault him for taking her out because she was possessed and she tried to kill him. See? See?
もはや貴様はカズミではない。ならば
Yeah, you can tell Heihachi. I think that's probably why his love for people just faded away after he had to kill the love of his life. He didn't have to do his son dirty though. Kazuya didn't deserve
The news
that.
of Kazumi's death eventually reached Kazuya, shattering his world. Grief soon gave way to rage as he struggled to piece together what had happened.
Yep.
He concluded that the last person seen with her was responsible for her death. Driven by this belief, he confronted Heihachi in the family dojo, his small fists trembling at his sides. After young Kazuya hurled accusations at him, Heihachi did nothing to ease the boy's anguish. He offered no explanations, simply allowing Kazuya to believe whatever he wanted to believe.
君に自分のことを説明する必要はないよ。彼女はもういません。彼女は弱っていました。彼女には進むべき道が見えませんでした。
See, Heihachi, he was just evil for no reason. You could at least gave the boy an explanation of why his mom. You could at least gave him something. You ain't had to do all that.
同じ間違いを犯すことはありません。
Kazuya charged at his father, his wild punches uncontrolled and ineffective. Heihachi swatted him aside effortlessly, sending him sprawling across the dojo floor.
Heihachi
これ
was
はあ
abusive.
れだ。この世界があなたの民だを気にしていると思いますか。強い者だけが生き残る。
Grabbing Kazuya by the collar, Heihachi dragged him out of the dojo to the edge of the estate's infamous cliff. The
infamous
moon
cliff
hung
in
low in
Tekken.
the sky, casting an eerie glow over the jagged rocks below.
高いとは誰が生き残るかということであり、それ以外の荷物でもない。さあ立ち上がって私と戦え。
Heihachi was
少
just
年
evil
よ。
for no reason. See, look how abusive he was. And he did that because he felt like Kazuya probably would turn up like Kazumi. That's probably why he did what he did. But at the same time, it's like, dude, you don't. That power didn't get into Kazuya.
貴様のせいで母さんは。
聞かぬわ。行くぞ。
I felt so bad for Kazuya. Oh, he had a hard childhood at the age of 5. The infamous cliff.
Kazuya faded into the night as Heihachi let him go. The world became a blur of wind as he plummeted toward the jagged rocks. The impact tore the air from his lungs, and darkness consumed him.
Yep.
He awoke in searing agony. Every bone in his body felt shattered, his skin torn and slick with blood. He should have been dead. By all rights, the fall should have ended his life.
Yep.
Yet as he lay broken on the jagged rocks, something began to stir within him.
あなたは捨てられ、壊れ、忘れられた。私はあなたの痛みを知っている。うぬいち側に燃える怒りを感じる。この力を受け入れ、立ち上がり、生き、あなたを不当にあかった者たちを打ち砕くのだ。
Without hesitation, Kazuya, consumed by anger and desperation, surrendered himself to this mysterious power. A searing heat surged through his veins, knitting his wounds and filling him with a strength he had never known. When he opened his eyes, they glowed with a faint, ominous red. Kazuya began his ascent. The cliff that had nearly claimed his life became his proving ground. Every inch he climbed served to bolster his newfound sense of purpose, his hatred for his father fueling each step.
And that was a very
Hours
long,
later,
steep
he stood
cliff.
at the summit. The kind boy who had fallen was no more. In his place stood a boy who swore to take everything from his father, the same way his father had taken everything from him. Although Kazuya hated Heihachi with every fiber of his being, he knew his father was the only one capable of completing his training.
Yep.
Aware that Heihachi sought nothing more than a strong heir, Kazuya returned to the estate.
怒りに極する。カズヤ。ケロスム。彼を持ってやる。彼をすむ。
In the years that followed, Kazuya's training intensified. Heihachi pushed him harder than ever, molding him into a weapon. But Kazuya...
And see, that's the crazy thing. Like, even though he did make a deal with one of Azazel's devil hosts, he still pushed him to train him to be a very formidable, strong opponent for him later on down the line when he creates the King of Iron Fist tournament. He did that for a reason. There's a reason he did that.
Was no longer the frail boy who had once clung to his mother's side. He buried his emotions, channeling his pain into every strike. The devil gene, previously awakened, lay dormant, lingering in the back of his mind. A silent reminder of the power he wielded should he need it again.
Yep.
During this period of rigorous training and emotional isolation, Heihachi introduced a new element into Kazuya's life, one designed to push him further and challenge him in ways even Heihachi could not. That element was a young boy named Li Chaolan.
Li Chaolan, the
Li's
adopted
parents
brother.
had died when he was a child, leaving him an orphan on the streets of a busy Chinese city. Heihachi discovered Li during a business trip and was impressed by the boy's raw talent and potential in combat. Seeing an opportunity to mold a new fighter and create a rival for Kazuya, Heihachi adopted Li and brought him back to Japan. From the moment Li arrived at the Mishima
Dang, so Li was
estate,
Chinese all this time. I
Kazuya
never knew he was
understood his
Chinese.
father's true intentions.
I thought it was Japanese
Li
all
was
this time.
not brought in to be a brother. He was a rival, a constant reminder that Kazuya was not indispensable. Heihachi wasted no time pitting them against each other, forcing both boys to spar and compete in every aspect of their lives. While Kazuya was driven by hatred and the need to prove himself superior to his father, Li thrived on competition, seeking Heihachi's approval, with an eagerness that only deepened Kazuya's resentment. Li's talent was undeniable. He was quick, agile, and showed a natural affinity for the Mishima fighting style. Heihachi ensured that Li received the same strict upbringing as Kazuya: harsh training, relentless discipline, and no tolerance for weakness. But while Kazuya's motivations stemmed from vengeance and hatred, Lee's were more nuanced. He wanted to prove himself, to show that he could stand toe-to-toe with Kazuya and earn his place in the family. The rivalry between the two boys grew increasingly fierce.
All right, Renzo gang. So, like I said, I'm gonna split this up into another part, two parts, maybe three parts. Who knows? So we're gonna end the video right here, Renzo gang, and you're gonna get more. So be ready. Now this one is a long one. And Kazuya is one of my favorite characters outside of his son and outside of Brian Fury, everyone else. And they have more Tekken anime lores. And comment down below what you want me to do after I finish up Kazuya. So after I finish up Kazuya, let me know who you want me to do next. So with that being said, Renzo gang, I'm outie, and you have a great day. You feel me? Kokorishire.